Hi y'all, how are y'all doing? It's good to be back with y'all. I know it's been about a week and a half, 2 weeks since I've done a cooking video. I did do the, reading the story and putting my apron on while I talk to you. But then after I got the stories read on Halloween, actually, I had to have a tooth pulled. And so now I'm back with you. And I'm visiting my two daughters that live close to each other. So I had one grandson had birthday today, and then my one daughter wanted a pecan pie, so it just late at night, and I'm making a pecan pie. So we're all eating together for lunch tomorrow, and I think that daughter is making a roast, and so I'm going to make pecan pie, and I'm actually making two because then tomorrow night, her, I guess when I was growing up, called Sunday school class, but it's her, I guess they still have a Sunday school class, but this is a small group class that meets once a week, and they meet on Sunday night. So she wanted to take a pecan pie to that, so I am going to make two of them. So we will go ahead and get started, which that was the only one she asked for, but I thought, well, I'm gonna make two, so I'll have one for lunch tomorrow too. So I'll go ahead and get started with that. To tell you a little bit about the recipe I use, and you think after all these years I'd have it memorized in my brain, but I only make a pecan pie about once a year, sometimes maybe twice a year. And so I guess that's why I don't have it memorized. I didn't want to bring my recipe card because I knew for sure I would lose it, so I wrote it down. But this recipe I have had for years. I got it on old cookbook of a church I used to go to. Boy, this is really crooked. I'm sorry, y'all. And I feel like my head's cut off too. I probably don't have this up high enough. Let's go like that. And y'all gonna have to, I'm sorry, put up some ADD self. But anyway, I got out when I was a lot younger. I got out a church I used to go to, a church cookbook. At that time, she was an older woman, probably about the age I am now, had put it in there, and she had said she had made it for about good 20 or 30 years, that back in the 60s, she had actually got it, I don't remember honestly where she said she got a magazine article, newspaper article or something, a cookbook. But anyway, it was a recipe that Lady Bird Johnson, now if you're my age, you know who she is. And she was President Johnson's wife, and President Johnson took over for President Kennedy when he was assassinated in 1964, and then he ran again in 68, or no. I can't remember my history. I should have looked up. I think he did not run again. And I think it was because of the Vietnam War that he did not run. So if you remember history correctly, let me know. There was time I used to know it. But as I'm getting older, it's like I was telling someone today, I start sometimes getting, this one and that one and different facts kind of intertwined. I just got so much in my brain that's getting intertwined now. But anyway, he took over for President Kennedy in 1964, and this was Lady Bird Johnson made this. And I did have someone one time tell me that they thought that was the same recipe that was on the back of the K-Rose syrup bottle many years ago when it first came out. And it could be, she could have even gotten it from there, so I don't know. I just know that where I got it from, that's what the person had written, that it was Lady Bird Johnson's recipe. So anyway, I didn't want y'all to think that this is just something I came up on my own. I am going to turn you down, and we are going to get started. So if you want to get your pen and paper and jot things down as I go along, Put you back a little bit more. Okay, and let me see, you're looking crooked there again. It didn't go straight. All right, now I want to tell you what I do is I take my mixing thing I'm putting it in, or whatever I'm gonna put my Karo syrup in, and actually mine's just the cheap store brand. I bought this on the way here and I got it at Kroger. And I'll measure and mix it all in this, and I spray it with cooking spray so it comes out better. I will also spray the utensils I'll use with cooking spray so it comes out better. And like if I was going to measure this in a cup and then pour it in here, I would also do that. And I'm laying these on a paper towel. You could just lay them out on your counter, but to me it's a little bit easier to clean up. Just throw that away. Okay, you're going to want to have a stick of butter, a half a cup, that's one stick, and you want it to be, get it very, very soft. Can you see I can push the sides in here? You want it very soft. You can melt it if you want, but the recipe says very softened butter. And so I get it about like that. You can leave it out all day and then, you know, put it in so it's very soft. I need some salt because this is unsalted butter. Let me see if I swear I can reach it. If not, she's going to.
Right up there.
Right here. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll get started and start putting stuff in. So we have our very soft butter. So let's go ahead and stick that in here. Oh no, I didn't want to put that in here. I'm not thinking. Oh, we'll get that out because I'm measuring in here. Okay, my hands are clean. I did wash them. And I have dishwater over here. I dunked them in before I started. Okay, so first let's go ahead and put our syrup in here. Okay, and we want it. Now her recipe calls for dark corn syrup, but I found that I just like to do the light corn syrup better for the reason that I use light corn syrup in a lot of different recipes than I do, more so than I do the dark corn syrup. The boy, I'm having trouble saying that. The dark corn syrup has a more intense flavor, so if you want to use that, by all means do that. It probably has a little bit of, you know, maybe a little bit of molasses or brown sugar in it. I'm not positive, which brown sugar has molasses in it. So that I'm not positive of. I've never really checked to see, but I use the light corn syrup for so many different things that I just buy a jug of it instead of just getting the bottles of the dark. It's just easier for me. You do it however you wish. And also I notice it's easier for me to judge when it's finished because the dark can start taking on that really dark color faster. And so it's just, for me, it's easier for me to use light corn syrup. All right, so I want 1 cup of the corn syrup. So squeeze in 1 cup. Always get down to where you can see. If you look up here and try to go from here, it's not going to be accurate. You want to get down here and look right at the mark. Okay. So that's 1 cup. Now we'll go ahead and we'll stick our butter in there. Our very soft butter. Very soft. Can y'all see how it's smushing? So it's very soft. And scrape this off. Savannah, do you save your butter wrappers? Okay. right. Then next we want to put in 1 cup of sugar. And then we want about a half a teaspoon of salt. Now, if your butter is softened, don't worry about. So that was 1 cup of corn syrup, 1 stick or half a cup of very soft butter. Then you want 1 cup of sugar, and then we want about a half a teaspoon of salt. Now we are going to stir that good. Mix it up really good, and you could use a mixer if you want to, but I'm just going to do it this way. Now, I said I am making 2 pies. This will only make 1 pie, and your oven needs to be at 375. Oven at 375, and this is only going to make 1 pie. Now, if you are wanting to make 2 pies, you are going to want to mix it. You're going to want to make 2 separate mixes, because a long time ago I tried to double it up, and when you put the pecans in there and you go pour it in, it just doesn't come out right. I guess you could take a, you know, maybe like a half cup measuring cup and put a little in here and a little in there, but it's just easier for me to just mix 2 different batches up. So I'm just showing y'all the way I do it. All right, that's about good there. Then you want 3 eggs that you have beaten. And I will tell you, this may not be word for word for what her recipe said. It's just, like I said, it's different. Some little steps that I've, over the years, have done it to make it a little bit easier for me, but it's still a good pie. So it's the one that my family is used to eating. Mix this up real good. Now at home I would be using a bigger bowl, so that's why I'm going a little slow. I have a bigger, I think this is a 4 cup one, and mine is an 8 cup one at home. Kind of beat them up in there a little bit. That started off slow so it doesn't slosh out, and then you get a little bit faster. Just make sure those eggs are, I feel like I'm slurring my words tonight, and I think it's because of this tooth over here being gone that I think my tongue keeps going over that direction. But I promise you, I do not drink, and I haven't had anything to drink, and I have not had any medication. But y'all may not hear it, but I hear it in myself. Okay, now, next we want to add pecans. So I'm just going to take the same cup I had the sugar in, and I am going to put in 2 cups of chopped pecans. Now you could put 1.5 cups in, and this bag is supposed to be 4 cups, so you could put 1.5 cups in, and then take the other cup and make it whole pecans and kind of just make a pretty design on top. But you know what? I had 5 kids. I didn't have time to do that. I had time to cook. I didn't have time to make things pretty. For some reason they like to eat. And they wanted to eat every day. Can you believe that? And every meal. I'm only saying that because I have a daughter here, and she liked to eat. And she's the thinnest of them all. But no, I think I've got one other daughter's gotten pretty thin now, too. Now that she's done having babies. Okay. You just want to kind of mix these in. You don't want to do it real fast. You kind of want to do it gentle. You could, you know, another way to say it is fold it in. Just get them mixed up in there well. All right. So, I'm putting this cookie sheet. I'm putting the pie pan on the cookie sheet. And on that, I'm putting the parchment. Because sometimes if you're not steady-handed like I am, if your hands are a little unsteady, try and get this to where you can see it. Let me move you back some more. Okay. If you're that doesn't want to go where I want it to go. But if your hands are unsteady like mine are, you may sometimes I'll shake a little bit. And it may slosh out a little, and it's better for the mess to be on here that you can throw it away than you trying to scrub it all off of the cookie sheet. And I'll tell you what I did earlier tonight when I was getting everything out. My pie shells, and I guess because I'm so tired, I wasn't thinking, and I took a fork and like I was going to bake the pie shells, then put the filling in. And I was just poking holes all over them. And I got finished, I realized what I'd done. And I thought, oh no, I don't want this this mixture to get in those holes. So I'm sitting here pinching all the holes shut so I could put this in here. See, I told you I'm tired, and that's what I was doing. All right, full disclosure, y'all, full disclosure. So now we will put this in our pie shell. Now, I'm thinking I have more batter than this has room. I wonder if they're making the pie shell smaller. So I will put this and save it, and I'll get enough out both that I may have a little bit. I can make a little mini pie or something one day. You know, I can take it and freeze it. You can freeze it and do that. All right, so we're going to put this in 375 preheated degree oven. We're going to check it first at 45 minutes. And we're going to want just a little bit of jiggle room when we kind of jiggle it. If you watch my chest pie video, it's the same method. And I'll bring you it back when those 45 minutes are up and show you what it's supposed to. I'll show you how it is, and if it's done, then we'll be finished. If it's too much jiggle, then we will go back. And her recipe doesn't say anything about jiggling. It just says cook it 45 50 minutes, but I've had mine take an hour before. And and if you bake it at you can bake it at 350 if you don't want to go any higher, and check it in an hour. So I'll tell you that 350 for an hour, and a lot of times that will be right on point. But I'm trying to hurry long night, so I'm doing the exact temperature that she has. So I am going to put it in the oven. I'll bring it back. So I'm going to go ahead and turn you off for now. Hey, y'all, something I forgot to tell. I forgot to put in that mix, and it was 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So you put that in right before you put your eggs in. You put it in with the sugar, the corn syrup, the butter, the salt. Put you in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I forgot all about that. Like I told you, I'm tired. And I was just glancing over here at the recipe, and I didn't even write it all down. I just mainly wrote the ingredients and also something else. And as soon as I realized what I did, I took and squirted some vanilla in it and kind of twirled it around with a knife. I don't know if y'all have ever done anything like that. You know, I'm human and I might make mistakes, and I don't mind owning up to them. But what I just wrote down the ingredients and what it cooks at. But I do remember after I had, we did it, I did remember that last year when I made one for Thanksgiving, because I don't think I made one Christmas at Thanksgiving, that I do remember I had noticed that I had extra mixture left over. And then I realized then, hey, they must be making these pie shells a little bit smaller than the full 9-inch. And so, which I actually, lots of times I'll buy if I don't make them homemade, like if I'm making a lot of pies at one time and I don't make them homemade, then I'll just buy the kind and make them in my own pie shells. But it was last year or some other time, I can't remember exactly, that I did use one of these, were already patted out in the pan ones and are pressed in. They weren't patted really, they were pressed in. But I did remember after I made this all up that and it was last year before, something like that, that I thought that they were smaller because I had mixture left over. And I do remember telling myself that next time I would need to buy a deep dish one. So you may want to make a note of that you'll want to use a deep dish one unless you make your own pie crust. Or you buy that, the kind that's in the refrigerator section. It comes in a roll and there's 2 of them. You take them, you just unroll them and you put them in your own pie pan, pie plate, whatever. So if you have, but it's supposed to be for a 9-inch pie. So if you're buying the frozen ones, you'll want to get deep dish if it's frozen. So I wanted to jump on here and tell you I remember that. And I would say more than likely it's probably written on my recipe card. I just didn't pay attention because, like I said, I mainly just wrote down the ingredients and how much to cook it. So, or, what temperature and how long to cook it. Whenever I do recipes, I'll always jot down little notes whenever I need to do something different or try, if I make an adjustment. If it's a recipe that I get from somewhere, that's what I do. So I wanted to tell you that. And of course, at the end, I will go through all the ingredients and how to do it again, all right? So, but yeah, if you make a little mistake when you first start making something, you remember there's always little ways you can correct it. Like all I did was just take the bottle, squirted it into the, I took and pulled out of the oven a little bit and squirted it in and then twirled it around with a knife. Now it won't be mixed up in there super good, but it'll still get that flavoring in there. All right, I'll bring you back when we're ready to check it. All right, y'all, I pulled this out, and normally I would check it. I would just pull the rack out of the oven a little bit and check it, but I still have other pie bacon. But you want to do the jiggle test. Try and see the best angle to get you to where I can still hold it with pot holders because it's hot. Oops, I'm going to make you fall over. I don't want you falling over in my pie. There we go. Let me pull this some. Okay. So we're going to just take and jiggle. See, that's not jiggling really, is it? You do like that, and if you sit here going just blah, 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 just jiggling all over the place. I know it sounded funny, didn't it? Like that has a little bit of a jiggle. I know you probably can't see that good with the camera, but and then you can also take your hand and lightly do like this on it. But you see it's not really jiggling. If it had a lot of jiggle and a lot of wiggle room, then you would need to cook it a little bit longer. I could tell because I've been doing it so long, I could tell when I took it out of the oven that it was done. So this one is finished, and that took 45 minutes at 375. And if you did it at 350, that would be at an hour. So we are going to set this one over here on a pot holder and let that other one continue baking. All right, I'll be back with y'all in a minute. Okay, y'all, I'm just showing you my second pie, and it's doing good too. Over here, I went ahead and decided to just cook off the little bit of stuff I had left. And you can see that butter swiggling on top. I don't know if you can see that real good. But it has a little bit of jiggle to it. But since I'm just going to probably let the little kids snack on that, and it's done, the eggs are set, I'm going to let it be finished too. So I am going to turn that off. Your main thing is you're just wanting to set. I'm going to turn you up here so I can talk to you. Okay, so let's go over this again. Let me look at these measurements so I make sure I don't leave anything out this time. Okay, you want a half a cup of butter or 1 stick, softened, you want it very soft. 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of dark corn syrup, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Mix that all together real good. Use 3 eggs beaten. Mix that in with the mixture. Then mix in or fold in 2 cups of chopped pecans. Then bake it at 375 for 45 minutes to, till it's set, till it doesn't have a lot of jiggle in the middle. And I honestly think I do cook mine at 350. I'd have to go home and look at my note. I just went through there and read off the ingredients less than the time it said on the recipe that's original, and I didn't read any of the notes I had jotted down. But I think I do cook at mine at 350 for an hour because some reason an hour is penetrating my brain here. All right, that's it, y'all. So I think the next recipe I am making will be some dressing. I'll probably make it on Thursday, okay? Unless for some reason I get to it Wednesday, but otherwise it will be Thursday, and I'll try to post it that same day. I had someone ask for dressing, so I will be making dressing. They said they want to know how I did my sage dressing, so we will be doing that. Okay. I'm sorry, honey, but I don't know your name, and you're so good to always comment, and I think it says Sea Wolf, but I'm not sure what your name is, and you may not want to give your name, and that's fine. So that's why I didn't call you by name, but she is the one who asked. And so, and I do appreciate you. You're such a faithful subscriber. So anyway, listen, remember to always season your cooking with love, and see y'all next week.